A lot of fans are questioning whether Josie Duggar is getting the help she needs. A family member is now disclosing the true treatment she has received at home. Stay tuned for the whole story. Josie is the youngest of Jim, Bob, and Michelle Duggar's children. You might recall their TLC series about Josie's challenging and premature birth. Because of her early delivery and serious condition, she had a difficult beginning in life. Fortunately, she survived and now seems to be a happy, healthy child. The youngest child in the Duggar family is 12 years old. Viewers are unaware of her current situation and previous activities because the show is no longer broadcasting. Some juicy family information was shared by a Reddit member who used to be friends with the Duggars. Fans and detractors could ask questions about the family in the comments section they posted, and they actually addressed some of the issues raised. The insider has so far revealed the family's belief regarding Josh's fate as well as the tense connection between Anna and Johannah Duggar. The former acquaintance is now speaking up about Josie Duggar's domestic abuse. One Duggar cynically asks, has Josie truly been the miraculous golden child, or has she just been swept away like the others? Because Josie was the youngest, viewers thought she was a golden child, and that her family gave her too much attention. That being said, it might not be the case. According to someone familiar with the Duggars, my homie Josie lost in the shuffle. This remark is disappointing since it lacks detail. However, it's possible that Josie Duggar isn't getting the respect and care she merits. She might as well join the countless children living there. In addition, a large number of grandchildren frequently visit. I sincerely hope that Josie will feel cared for and get the attention she needs from her family. For years, the public has been fascinated by the Duggar family because of their enormous number of offspring. Audiences have been enthralled with the family's private lives since their reality TV shows 19 Kids and Counting on, especially because of the dynamic and frequently overwhelming family structure. Although several of the Duggar children have grown up in the spotlight, Josie Duggar is one girl whose story is frequently forgotten. The topic that frequently comes up is whether Josie Duggar, the youngest of the Duggar children, receives the recognition she so richly deserves. Josie has had her own special journey. It makes sense that, in a family of 19, some siblings could occasionally be eclipsed by the family's more well-known figures. Josie has been quietly growing up behind the scenes, even while characters like Michelle and Jim Bob Duggar, as well as elder siblings like Jill, Jessa, and Johannah, frequently take center stage. But is she being ignored? Or has the greater drama and tensions surrounding the Duggar family just eclipsed her story? We examine Josie Duggar's life in greater detail and consider whether or not she is receiving the recognition she merits in this exclusive exposé. Josie Duggar's formative years. Since the day Josie Duggar was born, her tale has been distinct. The Duggar family was both happy and afraid when Josie, who was born prematurely at only 25 weeks in December 1999, arrived. After a difficult birth, she was hospitalized for several months, and in those early days, it was unclear if she would survive. Josie's health issues at the time played a significant role in the family story. The Duggars, who are well known for their fervent religious beliefs, told their audience about the highs and lows of Josie's medical journey while emphasizing her fortitude and her family's support. Despite her difficult beginning, Josie eventually came to represent the Duggar family's strength. She eventually developed into a lively young child, but her early life circumstances influenced both her public persona and her place in the household. Josie was frequently portrayed as a miracle child who had overcome the odds due to her medical history. Josie's tale, however, started to lose prominence as she grew older and the Duggar family grew with additional kids and increased public awareness. Duggar's upbringing. A life in the public eye. Josie was not the focus of the Duggar family's reality shows for the most of her early years. The public didn't gain as much insight into Josie's life since the older kids, especially Jill, Jessa, and Jinger, were frequently the center of attention. As the older siblings negotiated their personal lives, relationships, and expanding children, the cameras and media attention were mostly on them. Even though Josie was growing up with a distinct outlook on life as the youngest child in such a large household, her experiences were frequently marginalized since she was the youngest. As time went on, it became evident that Josie's story was frequently ignored, although the tales of the other Duggar children were thoroughly examined. She didn't play as big a part in the family's TV appearances, and she didn't get as much screen time for her own story. The dynamics within the Duggar family should also be taken into account, even though several fans questioned why Josie was frequently cast in supporting roles. Naturally, the older siblings' life milestones, getting married, having children, and making important decisions, took center stage in the performance. Josie has, however, continued to be visible to the public in subtle ways. Although the Duggar family periodically posts peeks of her life on social media, she rarely receives as much attention as her elder siblings. Many admirers have questioned whether Josie is actually receiving the credit she deserves as a result of her lack of exposure. The role of Josie and the family's priorities. Even though Josie might not have gotten as much public attention as some of her elder siblings, it's important to take into account her position in the Duggar household. With a strong focus on faith, family values, and the significance of every child's contribution to the family, the Duggars have always led a particularly family-oriented lifestyle. Despite not always being the most obvious, Josie's role as the youngest kid is important. Josie has had a special upbringing because she is the youngest in such a huge family. Growing up in the shadow of her older siblings, she frequently watched rather than took part in some of the family's most well-known events. Her position in the family is as significant, though. She has participated in the daily activities of the family and made her own unique contributions to the home. Josie has been able to express more of her individuality and voice as she has gotten older, but a large portion of her existence has stayed hidden. Some have speculated that Josie is happy with her more subdued role or that she is overshadowed by the rest of the family as a result of her lack of exposure. Josie's development as a person and her growing independence. Josie Duggar has started to establish herself outside of her family's reality shows in recent years. She has developed into a young adult with her own distinct interests and personality, even though her role in the family has remained primarily supportive. In order to give her admirers a better idea of who she is as a person, Josie has started to express herself more freely on social media and has shared more of her personal experiences. Josie's love of horses is one important facet of her life that has surfaced in recent years. She has shown an interest in riding horses and has been observed interacting with animals when at stables. The more visible, family-focused pursuits that frequently take center stage in the Duggar family's media presence stand in sharp contrast to this private obsession. One could argue that Josie's increasing independence and interest in pastimes unrelated to the family dynamic are attempts to separate herself from the Duggar heritage. Josie has also shown an interest in learning and developing herself. She hasn't been as outspoken in public as some of her siblings, but it's obvious that she is developing into a self-sufficient young lady. She might just want to keep a low profile and concentrate on her personal life rather than chasing attention. Is Josie being ignored by the public? Josie's tale is still being written, even if she might not have gotten the same amount of attention as her elder siblings. She may not have received the same amount of public attention or TV time as her sisters, but that doesn't mean she doesn't deserve praise. Some fans believe that the drama surrounding Josie's older siblings, Jill and Jessa in particular, whose relationships and personal issues have been extensively documented, has overshadowed her story. This does not imply, however, that Josie is not having an influence of her own or that she is not deserving of the praise and accolades she has garnered.